Kolhapur was in controversy related to its chappal.
Yes, sir.
So what was the controversy like and what is the status now?
Tell me, what is this Maratha reservation issue?
Tell me about the role that the Indian Air Force has played post-independence.
But don't you think we are overly dependent on UPI? Many a times people don't even carry cash with them because they have their phones and phone have UPI options.
Harshvardhan, what are monozygotic twins?
May I come in, sir?
Come in.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Please be seated.
Thank you, sir.
Please give a brief introduction about yourself.
My name is Harshvardhan Patil. I came from Kolhapur, a district in western Maharashtra. I did my schooling and graduation from Kolhapur itself. I completed my graduation in 2020 in mechanical engineering. After that, I worked as assistant system engineer in Tata Consultancy Services for a period of 15 months. Since then, I am preparing for civil services. In my free time, I like to play chess and also like to do long distance running, sir.
You were with a TCS. Tell me, TCS job is used to be considered to be a very stable job, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So you didn't like working there, or your aspirations were different?
Sir, I think TCS provided me a good opportunity to develop my professional skills. It was a very fantastic job. But however, I got realized that my field or scope of work was very much limited to the financial sector, as I was involved in Fintech development. So whereas the civil service, there is a lot of diversity and work which could impact a common man. So these factors attracted me towards the civil services, sir.
What are the good lessons you have learned while working in the TCS, particularly in the field of Fintech, which can be applied in the areas of governance under Government of India?
Sir, in Fintech, the most important factor is reconciliation, especially of financial transactions. So that aspect of reconciliation we could use in administration. For example, the calculating the impact of any policy on the ground, to reconcile the data which you are aiming and what is on the ground, how the policy is performing.
What initiatives have been taken by the Government of India in the field of Fintech?
Sir, major thing I would like to highlight is the UPI and the direct beneficiary transfer DBT schemes are the two major aspects.
Okay. You are coming from Sholapur.
Sir, Kolhapur.
Kolhapur.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Kolhapur. Kolhapur was in controversy related to its chappal.
Yes, sir.
So what was the controversy like and what is the status now?
Sir, what happened that the famous fashion brand Prada displayed the sandal inspired from the design of Kolhapuri Chappal in Milan fashion show without any acknowledgement that it design was inspired from Kolhapuri Chappal. So it was the case of cultural appropriation. So there was widespread outrage that also of GI tag violation case was there. However, in later the Prada sent their delegation to Kolhapur, and recently they inked one MOU with the Artisans Association in Kolhapur that they will purchase the Kolhapuri chappals from the Kolhapur artisans and they will sell it on their global showrooms at around 84,000 rupees, sir.
Some of the aggrieved parties had approached the High Court of Mumbai also.
Yes, sir.
But the plea was rejected. Do you have any idea on what grounds the plea was rejected?
Sir, I'm not exactly sure, but may I take attempt?
If you have some information, go ahead. Otherwise, let us leave it.
Sir, as GI tag have the territorial limitations. The GI tag has territorial limitation to territory of India. So the violation was beyond the territorial jurisdiction, sir. I think that was the reason.
You are right. You are very much right. Sugarcane cultivation is done there in Maratha area. Now you are a student of geography, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Now, as a student of geography, do you think that this is geographically this is a misfit crop?
Yes, sir. I think the sugarcane cultivation in Marathwada area is a little bit misfit because sugarcane is a water guzzling crop, whereas Marathwada area is a dry area because of the rain shadow effect. So there is a mismatch between the water what is needed and the crop.
So why it is becoming still a compulsion for farmers to grow sugarcane?
Major reason of sugarcane cultivation growing in these areas is that sugarcane is a particularly remunerative crop, that there is a standard FRP for sugarcane which assure farmers that there will be a assured income. So the financial security associated with crop, I think, is the main reason.
Why farmers' distress is concentrated in only your Marathwada and the Vidarbha area?
Sir, there are a couple of reasons. First major reason is that the Marathwada is a drought prone area, dry area because of the rain shadow effect, and inadequate irrigation infrastructure is there, and the credit availability is very much less, that the farmers are mostly dependent on the money lenders, local money lenders. So these are the major reasons.
Okay, thank you very much.
Harshvardhan,
Yes, sir.
you come from Maharashtra.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, what is this Maratha reservation issue?
Sir, Maratha is a dominant community in the state of Maharashtra. They are demanding the separate reservation quota for themselves. So currently government...
Will it be carved out of the OBC quota, or like it will be a separate quota?
Sir, currently what is the situation is that government of Maharashtra has given 10% reservation as a separate quota through SCBC category, whereas the Maratha also demanding that they should be given quota through the OBC reservation. So Maratha is demanding the OBC quota.
And what is the issue of Kunbis? Who are Kunbis?
Sir, Kunbis were largely landless laborers. So the communities, they are generally from the Maratha community itself.
Okay, so in your view, like, do you think the demand is justified or it should not be entertained?
Sir, I think the demand could be justified if there is a valid empirical data.
Achha, why the dominant communities in many states, not just Maharashtra, they are demanding to be included in the reservation net? What is the core issue here?
Sir, core issue I think is that distress, rural distress or agricultural distress, decline in income levels.
Correct.
That is the major issue, sir.
Now, in Maharashtra, especially in Mumbai, we often hear about this language issue.
Yes, sir.
So, why is this language such a major issue? Why people are being attacked for speaking not in Marathi?
Sir, I think the language issue particularly happening in Mumbai is due to perception or perceived fear the Marathi is having, that the people coming from outside are taking the jobs of the locals in Mumbai. So that distress...
So it is not about the language per se, but it is more about the perception that outsiders are coming and taking away the jobs?
Sir, my opinion is that it's about the perception of fear.
Okay. And is it justified to attack people for not speaking in Marathi?
No, sir, it's not justified. That Mumbai or any other area, we are the part of India. So I think it's not justified.
Now, this Arctic has been in news. How many countries are in the Arctic? How many countries? Like
bordering the Arctic?
Yes, which can be called to be the Arctic countries?
The Russia, Canada, Norway, then Sweden, and Denmark, sir.
Okay, what about US? Is it also an Arctic country?
US doesn't border the Arctic, sir.
What about the Alaska area?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Okay, you can look it up. My final question to you, why US is so much interested in acquiring Greenland?
Sir, there are few reasons. That first aspect is the strategic, that the strategic location of Greenland, it's near the Arctic and new shipping lanes would be there. And the strategic, one more aspect is that the missile tracking which would be fired from China or Russia, that could be tracked. And the other major aspect is the vast critical mineral reserves the Greenland possesses, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Harshvardhan.
Harshvardhan, I see that you got recommended for the Indian Air Force flying branch.
Yes, sir.
So what happened? You did not join?
Sir, I was declared medically unfit to join the forces.
Okay, fine. And you have a keen interest in military aviation also.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about the role that the Indian Air Force has played post-independence.
Sir, it was a, I think, wide role played by Indian Air Force, especially the major wars happened, like 1965 war. We didn't use any Air Force in 1962 war, but in 65 war and 71 war, Indian Air Force used a dominant role.
So this is a very strange development that we see, that we were able to use the Air Force in 65, then we used it in 71.
Yes,
but
sir.
why did not we use the Indian Air Force in 62?
Sir, I think that there might be a perception that use of Air Force would escalate the matter with China.
But don't you think that the kind of aggression that was done by the Chinese was in itself?
Yes, sir. It was aggression by China, but I think I'm not sure, but
Okay,
the peaceful.
fine, not a problem. So coming to the recent times, those are not wars but short-term conflicts. In those also the Air Force has played a very dominant and a decisive role.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about these developments.
First would be the Balakot airstrike, that Air Force was very much dominant. Then recently concluded the Operation Sindhur. Air Force played major role through especially unmanned aerial vehicles, introduction of drones in the warfare. So these are two recent phenomena.
Okay, so the Air Force is constantly working to expand its network, the number of aircrafts that we have.
Yes, sir.
So currently it was under discussion that India should expand its fleet by including either the Rafale, the F-35s or the Su-57.
Yes, sir.
Which aircraft would you recommend for the Indian Air Force?
Sir, as per my personal opinion, all options should be open, but however, it's my personal opinion that Sukhoi 57 could be the better option, because we already have the assembly line of Sukhoi that we are currently producing, Sukhoi 30MK. But also the Sukhoi platform will give you the weapon interoperability, that current weapon could be mounted on that, and the cost is very much less than F-35, that is around 40 million, whereas F-35 is around $100 million. And apart from that, the Russia is ready to transfer the technology to India. So considering these aspects, Su-57 could be a better option, sir.
Better option, right?
Yes, sir.
So this was all about the external dependence. What are we doing internally? What about our indigenous development program?
Sir, currently we have the Tejas Mark 1. We are also developing upon the next variant of Tejas Mark 1A. And in long run, for the 5th generation fighter aircraft, we are focusing on AMCA project, sir.
AMCA project. My last question to you, since you talked about the Tejas aircraft, the most important component of an aircraft, that is the engine,
Yes, sir.
is not made by India.
Yes, sir.
That is coming from the foreign countries. Why we are not able to develop our own engine?
Sir, particularly we had our indigenous program, that is Kaveri, but there were certain shortcomings, especially. That major shortcomings were that we were not able to achieve the thrust requirement. Basically, it generally needs around 85 kilonewton, but Kaveri was able to deliver only 75 kilonewtons. So along with that, special need of single crystal turbine blades was a major restricting factor for us. That is the
Okay, do you think that if we improve our expenses on the R&D front, if we are able to spend more money on R&D, we will be able to overcome this problem?
Certainly, sir. That definitely will overcome these problems. That see, around the Safran or major Pratt & Whitney companies have the budget around $2 billion per engine, whereas in India we generally spend around 200 crores around money, sir.
Thank you.
That will improve the condition.
Harshvardhan, you were mentioning how UPI is such a great revolution
Yes,
in
ma'am.
Fintech. But don't you think we are overly dependent on UPI? Many a times people don't even carry cash with them because they have their phones and phone have UPI options.
I think the over dependency is majorly contributed because of the ease of doing transaction, ma'am. So I think government is also proposing to through the e-rupee. So we are moving toward digitalization, and having dependency, I would think, is one of the good factor.
Okay. Will it not bring about more digital divide?
Yes, ma'am, the digital divide would be there, but we are not at the other end, we are not restricting the offline transaction or cash transaction, so that option is always there.
Sure. So you are a mechanical engineer also.
Yes,
now
ma'am.
tell me, is there one thing that you can recommend to change in the design of electric vehicles to make them more cost efficient?
I will go with replaceable batteries, ma'am. That
Will it compromise the safety?
it could compromise, but the research or any developments could lead to curb those.
Okay, but all in all, do you think there is a way to make these vehicles cost efficient, or will they always remain expensive?
Ma'am, I think they will be a little bit cost efficient in coming days. That currently many of the technologies which we use in EV are in nascent stage. Their currently development is going on. Once the technology will be made at a mass production level, that mass production will automatically bring down the cost, ma'am.
All right. Now, have you heard of the term finfluencers?
Yes, ma'am.
Who are they?
Ma'am, generally finfluencers are the person or entity which guides or acts as a content provider through digital media regarding the financial domains like
So,
stocks.
should we follow them?
I think following for just consider.
Following their advice. Should we follow their advice?
Ma'am, I don't think completely dependent on their advice is good option, because many of them are not having any certified investment advisory license. So solely relying on their opinions could be a danger, rather than we should focus on taking advice from certified financial advisors.
All right. So, you've also studied geography.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, can you tell me why Makar Sankranti always falls on the 14th of January only, unlike other festivals that we have?
Ma'am, it's about the rotation of Earth around the Sun, that northward migration of Sun, apparent movement of suns happens on that day.
And what happens with the other festivals, Diwali, Dashera, Holi? They keep changing dates.
Ma'am, they are generally derived from the Indian calendars.
What is the Indian calendar? What does the Indian calendar follow?
Generally, lunar cycle Indian calendar follows, ma'am.
Right. All right. My last question to you is, you like running for long distances.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the longest distance that you've covered?
I generally daily prefer 5 kilometers running, ma'am.
5 kilometers in a stretch.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, Harshvardhan.
Hello, Harshvardhan.
Hello, ma'am.
Harshvardhan, what are monozygotic twins?
Can I take a time, ma'am?
Yes, please.
They are generally twins from a same. They are identical twins. When a single sperm fertiles a egg and it gets divided into two, that results into monozygotic.
Not an issue. Okay. You were a part of the college students' union, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So, do you think the student unions promote the idea of rebel or dissent?
I think they promote the idea of highlighting the concerns of students over the rebellion, ma'am.
Okay.
Rebellion would be the extreme word. Students get to test the democracy at grassroots level since their college days, and they get to know about their rights and how to demand their rights from authority.
Organized.
Yes.
Can you think of some organized protest in history which has from which we Indians have learned the idea of protest?
Ma'am, I would think about the Gandhian phase, that civil disobedience movement. The Dandi March was a much organized event. We learned a lot from that.
Okay. You worked for TCS?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct? Tatas all over the world are known for their excellent work culture. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
But the same opinion, and sadly so, is not held for TCS. What do you think is the reason for this?
I think TCS do have a good work culture, but there are certain concerns related to the involvement of work after the working hours because of the digital in nature, that you have the laptop in home or other things. So, and apart from that, the one other issue majorly is because of the TCS have largely European or US client. You have to work according to their timeline. So these are the two reasons the work-life balance is little bit distorted, ma'am.
What are the drainage patterns that are there in India?
We have the radial drainage pattern for Narmada River. Then
What is meant by radial drainage pattern?
radial drainage is like if take example, there is a certain hill and the rivers got radially outwards from that same
Other
area.
patterns?
Then there is a antecedent rivers we have, especially the Himalayan rivers, Ganga, Yamuna. Then dendritic drainage pattern is there. So these are the few drainage patterns.
What is centripetal drainage system?
Ma'am, centripetal drainage system is specially where the streams accumulated in a special lake or any water body from all around the site, that called as inland drainage. We could see it in Thar desert, the river Luni.
So what do you think India's revenue system? Is it centripetal or is it radial?
Currently, we are having the centripetal revenue system, considering the GST and all. There is a higher power given to the Union of India over the states. So in my opinion, we currently have the centripetal revenue system.
Okay, thank you, Harshvardhan.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Harshvardhan.
Yes,
Your interview is over. You may go now.
thank you, sir. Thank you. May I come in, sir?
Come in. Sit down, Harsh.
Thank you, sir.
When is your interview, Harsh?
2nd February.
2nd Feb. Okay. Which attempt is this?
It's third attempt and second interview.
Last year you had gone for interview.
Yes, sir.
What was the score?
150, sir.
Why such a low marks?
I think I got little bit stressed out in interview. Since in start I was not able to answer few questions and I got very much stressed out.
150, you don't deserve to get 150. You are capable of scoring much better marks than what you got last year. So taking a lesson from that, you must have understood by now also.
Yes.
That this is your personality test.
Yes, sir.
Not the test of your knowledge. Not knowing a few initial questions is not a demerit.
Yes.
But not knowing and still speaking is a problem.
Okay.
If you had answered, I don't know what you did there, but if you had answered questions based on conjectures, guesswork, then probably that would have done a lot of damage.
Okay.
So never ever try to attempt a question which you don't know.
Okay.
That's the only big lesson you should learn. You are a good candidate. You have a fairly good idea of the issues which you have asked you. Some articulation, better articulation is required.
Yes.
So that you have to cultivate over a period of time.
Yes.
Every day you start speaking on one topic or the other, you will understand. Well, try to know the question per se, intent of the question, what exactly has been asked.
Yes.
And then after collecting your thoughts and all that, try to give a very crisp answer.
Okay.
That will make the quality of answer very nice, very good. Otherwise, longer answers, one loses focus then.
Right, sir.
So that is another thing. Otherwise, by and large, I have nothing much to tell you. You should remain calm, composed. You should remain truthful. Your communication skill is good. No problem. Only thing is that some articulation.
Yes, I will work upon it.
Otherwise, you are a boy from Maharashtra issues we have, and you have studied geography.
Yes.
So geographical constraints of Maharashtra related to agriculture is one area where questions are likely to be asked. Be prepared to answer those questions. Otherwise, Kolhapur, you know Kolhapur issue very well, not a problem. Issues related to farmer distress, issues related to water crisis and all are important.
Yes.
Maratha reservation also, we asked you questions. These are the important questions. Recently, BMC elections were held,
Yes.
results are out. Then there's some questions related to that also may be asked. So, what way they will ask the question, I don't know. But the herd culture that putting everybody in a hotel and all that,
Yes.
what is the significance of that from your perspective? That is important to know. You are a student of geography, Arctic countries, you should very clearly know.
Yes.
There are 8 countries, and which 8 countries are there? US is certainly a part of that.
Yes.
So why USA is there? You will understand once you study this. And otherwise, nothing much to tell you. Nothing much to tell you. You have gone through this process once,
Yes, sir.
so you know what are the pitfalls, and you have to just take care of those pitfalls. Otherwise, you could secure 175, 185 easily, not a problem. And a good personality, an honest person. Otherwise, all the best from our side. If you have any questions to ask, feel free to ask.
No, sir.
Okay, all the best to you.
Thank you, sir.
Do well.
Okay.
Do well.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.